Hi, I'm Professor Tim Scales. I'm also the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship and the Center for Economic Education here at Indiana University East. We're celebrating 18 years of In Your Business, as well as 35 years of Whitewater Community Television, also known as WCTV. As we celebrate these milestones, we'd like to go back and reflect on some of our earliest episodes of In Your Business. I hope you enjoy those early days. Hi, I'm Tim Scales, the director of the Entrepreneurship Center and the Sam Walton Fellow for Indiana University East. Today we're working on another episode of In Your Business, a program that's put together by SIFE, Students in Free Enterprise. What we like to do is we like to talk to an entrepreneur and we like to discover what they go through. Basically what we find out is there's a lot of risk involved with entrepreneurship as well as a lot of reward. We find that during the adventure we have to look at things like the idea, the plan, and the execution. We always start off with public opinion, then we discover the entrepreneur, learn from them, and then we go out in the field and actually see what they're doing. So please join SIFE as we discover entrepreneurship.
I think when I was younger, I could have ridden a motorcycle long distance, but at this age, I don't think so.
Oh, no, never. That wind cuts my face and I might start bleeding. No, never. It's too dangerous.
I think it'd be fun. My parents used to have a motorcycle and they would go on long trips. They had a good time.
I'd probably go from here to the corner. I actually have, but no, I don't think I'd like motorcycles. I like luxury. I like cars, limousines. I could go in a limousine for quite a while.
I don't know if I could handle it. I think it'd be fun, but you need a lot of stuff. I don't know if motorcycle has good storage. Yeah, it's also kind of scary, motorcycles.
Welcome to another episode of In Your Business. Today we're going to meet a fascinating entrepreneur, Louise Shade. Louise is the entrepreneur who owns and operates Harley Davidson in Richmond, Indiana. Louise, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's going to be exciting to learn about not only Harley Davidson, but about yourself and how you became an entrepreneur. So I'm excited to do that this morning. Well, I reflect back, and 30 years ago, you applied to have the dealership. Mm-hmm. And that's interesting because you weren't applying for a job, you were actually applying to create jobs. And I think that's neat because you've actually created jobs for yourself and many others. Currently, how many employees do you have?
We have 16 employees. 2 of those are part-time right now. And then in the summertime, we use boy part-time to come in and help with washes and waxes for the bikes. He works late afternoons and then Saturdays and does that.
30 years ago when you started, how many employees did you have?
We probably had 6 at that time. We actually bought the inventory of a dealership that had closed down in Muncie. And we ended up, I believe, with 3 of the employees who had worked there that came on board with us. And then they decided that it would be nice to have an evening shop in Muncie to sell parts and stuff, since there was still a lot of business in Muncie, instead of them driving down here all the time, and there wasn't a full-fledged dealer in Muncie. And some of them went back to work in the Muncie store that we opened. We had the store in Muncie till May of 1980, and it just got too difficult trying to run 2 locations 30-some miles apart.
Okay.
And we said we'd started in Richmond, so we'd stay in Richmond, so we ended up closing the facility in Muncie, and then there's another dealer that's gone in up there now. Over the period of time, we've been as low as 3 employees, my husband, me, and 1 employee. And as we have gotten more bikes every year, then we have to have more employees every year to take care of everybody. So
Sure.
we have 4 full-time technicians, We have a service manager and a service writer. We have 3 people in the parts department who also sell motorcycles. And we have a girl in motor clothes and a part-time girl in motor clothes. We have a part-time gentleman who checks our parts in and keeps us lined up for supplies and whatnot.
Okay.
And then I have a general manager, Diane, who's my right-hand person, and then me and George, and then we have another fellow that does a lot of our repair work and stuff.
Wow, it's a busy operation.
It is. We're there 6 days a week. We try to have everybody off one day, give them a 5-day week. Closed on Sunday because of Indiana's laws for not selling vehicles, and you need a day off anyway.
Good for you.
We do have a Hog Chapter, which is Harley Owners Group, HOG, and we do some activities with them on Sundays, but
Okay.
not open for business.
Well, it's interesting because when I first thought of the Harley shop and I came there and looked around, I guess my thinking was you sell motorcycles. But after visiting and seeing what's going on, the activity, selling motorcycles seems to be the small part. I mean, it's everything else that you're doing.
When we opened in 1976, we had 3 models of motorcycles, a Sportster, a Super Glide, and an Electric Glide.
Okay.
We had a choice of about 2 jacket styles, maybe 2 T-shirts from Harley. And at that time, Harley had not done a lot of their licensing like they do now. You could buy a little bit of everything with the name Harley Davidson on it. Then Harley Davidson decided, hey, we need to protect our name here, you know.
Sure.
So they did all the registration and trademarking and all that kind of stuff, which eliminated a lot of the questionable items with Harley Davidson on it, and also resulted in an improved quality of a lot of stuff. Harley is very demanding on the quality of what has their name on there, which they should be.
Good.
Then it also ended up, when we were first open, we had a T-shirt shop in Union City that we bought T-shirts from with Harley on the front, our name on the back, because Harley didn't do all that much at that time. Now it's, you get them all from their licensees and everything with your name already on the back. But there's a whole line of products that they have expanded over the years. Our catalog that used to include clothing and hard parts was maybe the size of a small magazine. Now we have a 700-800 page book.
Wow.
That's just parts. That doesn't even include the clothing line. So they have gone into a lot of the collectibles. They've highlighted their anniversary years with special items. In 2003, with the 100th anniversary, they had a whole line of collectibles that highlighted the 100th anniversary. They did the same thing for the 95th and the 90th. We're going to be coming up on another one here in a couple more years, so don't know what that's going to amount to. The 100th was a big one.
Yeah.
They actually celebrated the 100th for about a year. They had a kickoff at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in 2002, and then it culminated with a big rally Labor Day weekend in 2003 in Milwaukee.
Okay.
It's a lot of bikes.
Yeah, I guess so.
When we rode into town, the people were standing on the overpasses waving at us and stuff. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to see the people so receptive.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, it seems like the Harley rider and the Harley supporter, I mean, they're just really committed.
It's really interesting in the business. Everybody has the same enthusiasm and passion, but such different people. Both lifestyles, work ethics, whatever you want to call all the differences. I don't know what other business you would be in that you would have such a variety of individuals coming into your store, and get to know them, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of different people go into Dillard's or Penny's, but you don't get that relationship with the clerks and stuff in those stores like you do in our business. But we have just the whole gamut, from professional people to blue collar to those that are getting up there in years and those that are just starting out, anything in between. It's just really fascinating.
I had another entrepreneur on the show who used the phrase owning the relationship. And when I'm at the Harley shop, I truly see that. It's like a partnership. You know, a person comes in and they may purchase a motorcycle, but they're truly getting involved in a total relationship, it seems.
Yes.
Because, I mean, when I visited the shop, I seen clothing, I seen parts, I seen everything you could imagine for the Harley fan. But in the back, I was just totally surprised. I thought you'd have a few bikes I could pick from, maybe order one, it would come in. But when I walk in the back and I see just hundreds of motorcycles, I wasn't sure what to say. I mean, I was just taken by that fact that you stay with the owner all the way through.
Basically, we do. It is a life experience, if you want to call it that. When a person buys a motorcycle, they are made a member of the Harley Owners Group, which is the national organization. We also give them a membership for a year in our local chapter called Whitewater Valley. And that brings them back into the fold with monthly meetings and stuff, if they choose to. A lot of people's lifestyles just don't allow them to attend our meetings and stuff. And some people don't want to be part of an organization. But we've also had people get together through the HOG chapter and be able to ride with somebody that they didn't even know before.
Sure.
Because they've got the same days off or the same riding style. Things like that even though they bought the bike and are kind of a loner at the time, then they found somebody else that they like to ride with and maybe the same age, same preferences, whatever, you know.
Sure.
And it really, you don't just sell the bike and they walk out the door. You end up with them coming back for service, for parts, for clothing. We can outfit you from underwear to outerwear, from top to bottom, from hot weather to cold weather, and accessorize the bike to the nines, if you want to call it that, or some of them just leave them pretty much stock. That's their preference. We don't accessorize the bikes ahead of time. We let the customer choose what he or she wants to put on the motorcycle to get the style that they want. There are some dealerships who do pre-accessorize. I just feel like what I choose, if it's not what they want, then they've actually bought like two pieces instead of one, and I don't feel like doing that. So
Sure.
we let them do all the accessorizing themselves. But it makes it their bike.
Sure.
That
They're proud of that.
They've dressed up.
Sure. Well, it's interesting because to me, the Harley shop is like the second home. You know, they have their home and then they have their second home, which is where they started the relationship with the Harley.
We get a lot of people on Saturdays. They're an every Saturday morning visitor. That's just part of their routine. They hit the Harley shop. During the summertime, we have a lot of riders stop in, especially on Saturdays with their day off. They ride in from other parts of Indiana or Ohio, just out riding around, and their goal is to stop at the different Harley shops. And some of them collect shot glasses or dippy dots or things like that. Some of them are just out for the ride and just stop in and say hi.
Sure. We've learned a lot about the store. Now it's time for me to learn a little bit about you as the entrepreneur. Now, when I say it's a second home for your customer, I know it's a second home for you. Tell me about the average hours, the week, what it looks like for you, Louise.
We're open from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and 8:30 to 5 on Saturday. I'm usually there early during the week. This morning I was there at 7:30. It's just getting ready for the day. Don't ordinarily get out of there right at 6 o'clock in the evening. Try, but sometimes you still have customers and you finish with them and then you leave. The amount of paperwork there is involved with it results in me doing a lot of work at home. I probably am going to be purchasing a computer here shortly at home to help me out with some of this. We have computers at the store, but
Sure.
there's just not always enough time there to get everything done. So if I had a computer at the house, I can flip-flop and save a lot of handwriting, I guess.
Sure.
It's a lot of hours, but it's fun hours. No 2 days are ever the same. Just something different going on all the time. I'm not at the counter like I used to be, and sometimes I miss that. But there's just no way for me to be at the counter and do what I need to do with the administrative end of it. So
Sure. Well, it's interesting. You must have a passion for the business.
I think I had ridden on a motorcycle twice when we started the business.
Okay.
We went, there used to be a lot of motorcycle races in the area, and we went to Louisville half-mile races the Memorial Day weekend of the first year we were open. That was the longest ride I'd ever had on a motorcycle, all the way to Louisville. Since then, we have been in 43 of the 48 states on the motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah. That is a result of riding to a lot of dealer meetings, the annual hog rallies. They have different places, and going to motorcycle races or NASCAR races. The only states we're missing are the 5 New England states. We just haven't hit that area yet. So, and we're looking forward to doing that one
I
of
was
these
going to
days.
say, I can tell it's kind of on your radar. You're going to go.
Yeah, we'd like to do that one of these days. The annual hog rally is in Billings, Montana this year, so we're looking forward to go out there too.
Well, you know, when I asked you about the passion, you started telling me about the trips, and I love that, because what that tells me is that your job, if you will, of owning the Harley shop, that's a part of your life. I mean, it's
Yeah.
truly, you know, it's just who you are.
It's I don't know how to describe it. It's just so totally different from what I ever thought when I got out of high school and got my first job and stuff. I never dreamed we would be in this kind of a business. And then as a result of being in this business, we've done a lot of traveling here in the States. We have been awarded some trips through Harley Davidson's incentive plans and gone places I never thought I would get out of the United States. So it's really been a life-altering 30 years, I guess.
Sure.
And we've met some people that we love to ride with. It's just, we've ridden places by ourselves. We've ridden in big groups. We've got a few couples that we just thoroughly enjoy riding with. The whole trip is just a blast. We've ridden to the West Coast 3 times. The first time was in 1980. It was the longest trip we ever made on the motorcycle. And the last 2 days home, I was really depressed because I thought, now I got to go back to work, back to house cleaning, back to dishwashing, back to
Sure.
cooking, and all that kind of stuff. And it'd been so nice to be served for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not have to do that. But when you're traveling on the motorcycle, you have to learn how to pack sensibly. You can go for a 2-week trip and take no more with you than you do on a 3-day trip, because you know you're going to have to do laundry. So
Okay.
on a 2-week trip, so you don't take your hair curlers and 3 pair of shoes and all that kind of stuff either. You travel sensibly, learn how to layer your clothing,
Sure.
and take rain gear.
Well, when I talk to entrepreneurs, we talk about the risk and reward. Now, you have a lot of inventory, which puts you into a risk category, I suppose. You know, but it seems you have that passion for it, so you know it's going to sell.
We try to anticipate what the customers want. If we get a product in that really doesn't catch on, then we don't restock it. What really sells, you restock if you can. Harley has a program they call like a forward buy. And a lot of times those are like a one-order situation. Sometimes it's more unique products, more for the individual in the clothing line than it is the parts and accessory line. Those kind of items, you just have to take a guess at those, because
Sure,
you
sure.
really can't anticipate it. You can't show them to the people to let them know what it's going to, what it looks like, so that you can anticipate their demands. I think there's a rule that you order a certain percentage of what you like, a certain percentage of what you don't like, and you can't just order what you like, because your customers like different things. So we've We've done pretty well in the long run on that. Every once in a while we get caught with something that we anticipated selling and it doesn't, but you still move it.
Okay, good. Good.
Still move it. And
So recognizing that as the risk, what has been the ultimate reward?
just to meet the most fascinating people and be able to go places and see all the motorcycles and meet some of the most interesting people in the world, I guess, at the events and stuff. Just to see families right into the events, bringing their kids along and making it a whole family experience rather than just the guy on the motorcycle. You know?
Sure.
It's I wouldn't trade the last 30 years for anything.
Good. Well, we're at a point in the show where we like to send Johan out to the business. Mm-hmm. And so I'd like Johan to come out and experience Harley Davidson and just see what he thinks.
I think you'll like it.
I think he will too. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. Well, some businesses like to be slow-paced and some of them like to be in the fast lane. And which better business to have living life in the fast lane other than the Harley Davidson Motorcycle Company, one of the leading companies in the United States and possibly in the world. Let's go out into the store and check out all about this entrepreneurial activity. All right, we're here with Greg Brooks at the Harley Davidson store. Hi, Greg. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. All right, so I'm very excited about the tour you're going to give me into the store. Thank you so much for taking the time. All right, welcome to Richmond Harley. Thank you. Let's go.
You come in. To the right is all our motorcycles that are for sale.
Okay.
New FL models, Softails and V-Rods on this side, and these are your touring bikes.
Okay. Now, do owners, like people who want to buy bikes, have their own custom ones, and do you guys customize them?
We
as
do
well?
that. We do that. They come in here and they'll have a list of parts because they get sent our parts catalog.
And if you're adding parts to the bike, would that be an additional cost, or
Yes.
would there be a standard fee for
No,
the bike?
every part has its own price.
Okay.
Every part has its own price.
Right.
Okay?
And what do the price ranges start from?
Oh, most of your parts, they vary in, anywhere from $3 to $3,000, depending on what you buy.
Wow. Okay. And the bikes itself?
Our lowest priced bike is probably a Sportster, somewhere around $7,000, and the
Okay.
highest priced bike being like a Screaming Eagle bike, which this bike ranges at $29,000.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
More parts are in this area, all through here.
Okay.
On all the walls are displayed parts.
Right.
This is an old 71 Super Glide. And this is the new 35th anniversary Super Glide.
Wow.
This is the motor clothes area.
Mm-hmm.
This is the women's line on this side of the building here.
Right.
Children's.
Now this is kind of interesting, like biker parents would always want to inculcate something with their kids.
I want to be like mom.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to be like dad.
Which is something really great.
And then it starts, the men's clothing comes around this way.
Sure.
And we have jewelry, and we have sunglasses, and we have more t-shirts and jackets and stuff in here.
Great.
Boots.
Now something which I've always wanted to do is try on one of the best Harley Davidson jackets.
One of the best Harley Davidson jackets?
Yeah.
Probably would be this. So let's try this one. This is an FXRG.
Okay.
These have a lot of protection.
Okay. They must be heavy jackets.
Yes, it's a heavy jacket.
Okay.
You see it has an inner jacket inside of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Feel how heavy it is?
It is. It is.
It provides lots of protection.
Absolutely. So do a lot of people buy this particular one?
Yeah, it's popular.
Yeah.
Feel all the padding in the shoulders.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of good. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Greg. And what would be a more retro look? Or something like the brown one right here?
We have several different kinds. We have something a little flashy.
Yeah.
This would be a real retro jacket.
Oh yeah.
Got that old worn look,
Absolutely.
and there's chaps to match.
Okay.
We have chaps and we have a vest to match that, you know, and it makes that new rider look like he's been riding a long time.
Oh yeah.
And then you have something like this with the stripes and
Okay.
custom speed on the back of it. And then something
is
a little
nice.
flashy.
Flames.
That's popular jacket.
Okay. So you do custom paint jobs for bikes as
We
well?
sell them. They come from Harley Davidson and they're all numbered.
Right.
And there's a certain amount of them
Okay.
that are made. So if you had that one, you'd be like one of 150 of them ever made.
Oh, okay. Now, would that be suitable for any model of Harley?
No, it just fits an FX Softail from 2000 to 2005.
Right. Yeah.
I'm an advocate of helmets. I think everybody should wear one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And come on back, I'll show you the service department.
Okay. So an estimate of how many parts do you think would be here?
Millions.
Millions?
Millions.
Seems
And
like-
parts for motorcycles all the way back in the 40s,
Oh.
30s, all the way up to present.
Wow, that is great.
This is our service department. And we also have storage for motorcycles, which is upstairs.
Right.
These are where the motorcycles are all serviced down through here. A couple of the mechanics are here, but most of them's on layoff on today. On Tuesdays they're off work.
So people bring their bikes here for adding additional parts.
Yes, and here's
For servicing.
several new motorcycles and customers' motorcycles. Right here. We have storage, and this is where we clean them up and wash them and wax them.
Oh, okay. That's really great. Now, my dream is to get a ride on a Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
Do you think you could arrange something?
We could probably talk to the service manager over there. He could probably get us a ride, get you a ride on a motorcycle.
That would be great. The wind in your face, nothing beats the Harley experience. Back to you, Tim.
This concludes another episode of In Your Business. Today we met with an entrepreneur, Louise Shade. And Louise owns the Harley Davidson shop in Richmond, Indiana. It's quite interesting how many lives she has touched, how many families she's been a part of, and just the impact of 30 years of entrepreneurship has had. It's interesting in the interview today because Louise said that she used to work the counter and now she doesn't. I can assure you that if you go to Harley Davidson in Richmond, Indiana, and you go to that counter and something of interest, and Louise happens to hear it, she'll be at that counter. She's got the passion for entrepreneurship. That business is hers, and every relationship is owned by Louise. So she's been a wonderful person to learn from and a great story. So if you ever have an interest in Harley Davidson, I encourage you to visit her and get in her business just like we have. Thank you for watching.